Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is James. Today we're going to be making a very unique risotto, something that you may not have seen unless you've been to Italy or Croatia. Since I still have a few ingredients left over from the arroz negro, we're going to be making a seafood risotto. So it's something that you can easily make at home, providing of course that you have the ingredients. And if you don't have the squid ink, you don't need to put it in. This is a very flexible recipe that you can adjust as need be. So before we get going, be sure to like the video down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done already, and be sure to check out the rest of my videos that I have up on my YouTube channel. So let's get started. Right, so for the ingredients, I'm gonna go down the prep list one by one so we can make the risotto a lot more efficiently and we can make this a lot easier as well. So first we're going to peel and burn wash the shallots. I'm going to cut a few more today because I'm going to be using them for the clams as well a little later. Then we're going to weigh out our arborio rice. I'm gonna use about 60 grams per person. You can adjust this if you want, make a little more, a little less, it's all up to you. Then we're going to cut our butter. I prefer to cut it because it's easier to add it while we're cooking the risotto instead of adding just a chunk of butter in, but it's up to you. Then we're going to uncork the wine, and if you want you can also taste the wine, it's totally optional. Then we're going to clean our calamari. When you clean them, you want to make sure that you pull the head out and then you cut the tentacles off, etc. Make sure you take the beak out. And if you want, you can also leave the skin on. It's optional. You don't have to peel the skin off. It's not going to be white. It'll actually turn more of a purplish type color. Then we're going to take our fumet or our fish stock and we're going to get it hot. Now, you can make your own fish stock if you want. I'm going to leave the recipe down below if you want to make it. But just to make an easy and simple risotto, it's much more efficient to use something that either you already have or to obviously go and buy it, because this is only going to be for a few people. So that's about everything before we get going, and I think we can start our risotto. Alright, so one quick tip. Whenever we're making a risotto, you either want to use a wood or a plastic spoon. This just helps not to break the grains of rice when we're stirring constantly. So we're going to get the pan hot. We're going to add a bit of oil to the pan. We're going to add about 3/4 of the shallots that we cut in, because we're going to save these for the clams that we're going to make later. After about a minute or so of cooking the shallots, once they turn more translucent, we're going to add the calamari that we cut. We're going to saute, and after about a minute or so of cooking the calamari, we're going to add the rice. Remember to constantly stir at this point, is very important, and also adjust the fire while you're cooking. Okay, now after about 2 minutes, more or less, we're going to add the white wine. Now once the wine has evaporated, we're going to add the ink. We're just going to add very, very little, about 1/4 teaspoon. If it's not enough, you can always add a little more. Alright, now after you've added the ink, we've added the wine, we've sauteed, we're going to add the stock little by little. While we're waiting for the risotto to cook, now we're going to cook the clams very quick and also mark the rest of the calamari. So, first, get a little saute pan, a little bit of oil. We're going to add the rest of the shallots to the pan. Going to add the clams in, the frozen clams, and a bit of white wine. You can add a little knob of butter in there, and we're going to put a top on it until they open. We're going to julienne some parsley. Alright, after they're open, they're done, we're just going to throw a little bit of parsley in. And they're finished. Now we're just going to get the pan hot and mark the other calamari real quick. You only want to cook them for a few seconds on each side. About 20 to 30 seconds each. Not much. And you're done. Okay, we're almost done with the risotto. Just a few more minutes. You can tell when you're cooking, it's a little harder when you're using ink, but if it still has a little bit of a white core to it, it's close to being done. It should be a little al dente, but not too much. At this point, you want to taste it. Again, keep checking it constantly, and if you want, you can add just a little bit of salt to it, not too much, because when we add the Parmesan, it has more salt, and you don't want this too salty. The great thing about risottos is that they're extremely versatile to make, and you can make them out of almost any type of puree or with all different sorts of vegetables. They go great with fish, with meat, with just about anything. So this is a great alternative to making mashed potatoes, for instance. Alright, now after about 15-20 minutes of cooking, taste the rice, keep tasting it, and when it's almost perfect, we can start adding the butter, little by little. We're going to mix the butter in slowly, because we want it more of a creaminess. We want to basically emulsify it. And you always want to add the butter at the last end of the stage. Some people add it at the beginning because then you can roast the butter. It gives this hazelnut type flavor to it, a brown flavor, which is quite nice. But it all depends on who you're talking to and again who's making it. But as you can tell, when you add the butter at the end, it starts to thicken quite fast. And this right here is about the perfect risotto. It's nice and creamy. It's not too thick because when it's hot, it'll lay flat. This is what you want. It's just al dente, so it's not too hard. It's perfect. Now we're going to add the Parmesan in. Give it a mix. Good consistency. If you want to make it a little more liquidy, just add a little more stock to it. And it has an excellent color to it as well. Like I said, that ink goes a very, very long way. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Like I said earlier, it's a very easy and flexible recipe, so if you can't get or if you don't want to use the squid ink, it's not a necessity. You can still make a very nice seafood risotto without it. So for more recipes, be sure to check out the rest of my videos that I have up on YouTube. Be sure to like the video down below, subscribe as well if you haven't done already, and I'll see you guys again very soon.